Hi everyone, welcome to Love for Humanity's free call. This week we are talking about doubt, not good enough or not worthy. So I firstly just want to have a chat about where this topic has come from and how this topic has come up, because a lot of people are actually quite interested around, how I receive messages and signs and even topics, and why these things come into our awarenesses. So the thing I want to share around this, and this is what a big part of Love for Humanity is all about, is sharing stories. And through stories, what I do believe we do is actually start to open our own awarenesses to what's actually going on within us. And so it's through stories that we learn the best way. You probably know with tribes and different cultures, the way that they share traditional rules, regulations, processes, concepts, philosophies, all that sort of thing, is usually through stories, especially for young children who can tend to absorb the concepts a lot easier when it's told through stories. And a lot of the work that we do here is through telling our own stories, which is why I have people come live onto these calls to be able to tell their stories and to share anything they want to share that will help other people to be able to go within themselves and look at their own stories in life and how that the things that are happening affect them. And usually, I don't know if you notice that when someone is telling you their story, your subconscious naturally goes into yourself to then see how this story relates to you, what the story is that they're telling you. And it's a really beautiful way to share information. And so I do believe that there's a lot of power in stories. A lot of stories can inspire others to expand their horizons. It can help you to learn new concepts, to be able to embrace them and to accept them. And especially through this period of change, it's through the stories that we tell that we can try and understand each other. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story around how this concept and this story has come up around doubt, not good enough and not worthy. And if you do kind of hang out with me a little bit, you know that I do love my shows and movies. I get a lot of inspiration, a lot of information, and a lot of downloads while I'm watching TV or movies, especially, through Netflix or Stan or anything like that. So you don't have the interruption of adverts or anything like that. So, and especially, I tend not to watch too much commercial TV, so it's a great way for me to really tune into, again, the stories of others and then to receive what we need to know moving forward. And the latest series that I've been watching on Netflix is called Anne with an E. And I'm not sure if it's in your country or if you have access to it on Netflix, but it's all about Anne of Green Gables, and I've actually been a follower of Anne of Green Gables since I was a child. I love the story. The story is magnificent, and there is an original show out there with lots of different series called Anne of Green Gables, but this is another kind of spin-off from that, which is called Anne with an E. And this series was a little bit hard initially to get into because I was always related back to the other series that I used to watch. But then when I watched it with open eyes and was able to embrace the new characters, what I found is that there's a lot of really interesting topics that this series tackles. And I'm not going to go into too many of them today, but there's a lot of topics. I mean, this is based around 1899, like the end of the 1800s. And a lot of the topics that they talk about in this series is actually relevant to now. And I just think during this period of change, if we're really wanting to open our eyes and to look at what's actually going on out in the world, strangely enough, something that they talk about back in the late 1800s is relevant to now, and it shows how we haven't really moved too far forward in a lot of concepts for humanity and in society. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, and what was guided through watching the series. I do love binge watching, and so I was able to watch a 3-series show in probably about a week, but I have been off sick, so it was a little bit easier. But one of the things that, especially in different classes of people in the show, and a lot of people who are different in the show, who may be brought up different or not understood, is the topic of not good enough, not worthy was a really big topic that a lot of people struggled with, not valuable, and again, doubt of who we are, why we are here, why is this happening, all that sort of thing. So as I was watching the show, I got lots of really good information come through that I can share for you guys around doubt, not good enough, not worthy, and the whole concept of worthiness, especially looking back and being able to watch. And this is what I do a lot with my work, is if someone can't really understand or get past a topic or something that's going on in their life, I do actually recommend that you put it into movie form to be able to get it out and for you to see it external to you, so you can get a little bit of a different perspective. And that's what doing or watching this show has been able to get me to do, is to watch the show and to be able to see this concept. It's a topic that comes up again and again and again in this show. And as I was noticing this coming up in the show, I kept getting a lot of information coming through, which I'll share for you now. So the topics of, not good enough, not worthy, doubting yourself, the unsurety, and all that sort of thing. As I'm looking at it, I could see that it tended to actually happen to most people in the show. And the ones who tended to show their fears of worthiness and not good enough or what have you, tended to be the ones who weren't accepted so much by society. And when that happens over and over and over again, it cements to them that they don't fit in, that they are in fact not good enough, not worthy, and it confirmed their belief. And as I'm watching it again, like these messages were coming through, because we can see the true characters. Of course, they are just characters, but we can see their true stories. I mean, nothing's really hidden so much when you're watching a show about someone, because they try and put as much information about that person in there. And, it's very sad when we see how amazing these beautiful characters are, and these beautiful people. They're beautiful people from all different walks of life, different cultures, different circumstances. And yet it's so sad when you see these magnificent people, saying, I don't deserve to be here. I'm not worthy of being there, or I can't do that because I'm not worthy. And as I was watching that, I received a message just saying, that the concept of worthiness, there is no real concept of worthiness. And I was like, well, this is really interesting. My conversations with the universe, it's so interesting. How is there no concept of worthiness if these people are experiencing it? And this is where I was showing, is that it's all in our subconscious, and it's, our subconscious records everything that happens to us in life, and it makes sense of it for us to then be able to take the meaning of whatever has happened in the past with us into the future. And it's locked tied in that subconscious for us to be able to use, for it to help us to deal with situations coming up in the future. So say, for example, again, Anne was orphaned, and she was thrown from home to home to home to home, different places, and she never belonged anywhere, which created a concept for her of not worthy or not valuable. She had no roots, she had no history, she didn't know. And again, in this film, I don't want to give too much away because it's amazing, but she does try and look for her heritage and for where she does belong. And it's interesting, looking at this character. She's so rich and vibrant in all these ways, yet she has this deep subconscious belief that she's not good enough, she's not worthy, she doesn't fit in. And again, the big concept of not fitting in, I feel like in a lot of these instances, is really one of the major elements of the concept of not being worthy or not good enough, is the not fitting in. If I don't fit into society's norm of what is traditionally normal, then I'm not worthy, or I'm not valuable. And that is what the brain decides from our situations. So say, for example, Anne, her situation was that she was thrown from home to home, which created the belief that I'm not good enough. Whereas when you watch the situations, it's actually not her, not that she's not good enough. It's just simply that the situations don't suit each situation for her to be there. But again, this is naturally what our mind will do, is create the belief that I'm not good enough, and then that shows up in so many ways in their life from then on. There are other characters which are so absolutely beautiful but don't fit into society, which then creates the belief that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't belong. And so they then, within their own mind, pull themselves back from who they actually are and don't show themselves to the world, even though, as we're the world watching them in a show, they are absolutely beautiful people, which creates a lot of empathy for us when we're watching these shows, because they are so gorgeous, yet they have so many doubts about themselves. And you almost do want to scream at the screen saying, you are so magnificent. Stop it. Like, you're so amazing. And I feel sorry for you. I really do see you for who you are. And yet I find that when we don't value ourselves, and we don't feel like we belong and don't fit in, is that's the thing that we create, is this story within our heads that I can't be myself, I'm not valuable in society. And so if you want to know when you actually have that going on within you, if you're not sure of it, look at what society is showing you. Like, if you do actually feel like you don't fit in and that you don't belong, and these have been your experiences in the past, if you want to change those, you need to see that this is actually what's going on within you. And somehow, if you can, try and go within yourself to be able to tune into a part of you that embraces the differences. And when you look at the concept of embracing your uniqueness, you embrace the differences, acceptance of, this is actually who I am, then what I'm shown is the concept of worthiness doesn't actually exist. And this is where I was shown watching the show, is that it actually is a concept that doesn't really need to exist. It's something that we create within our own minds through our experiences. And so if we can maybe even look back at situations that may have happened in the past, again, situations where you've not fit in, where you've not been able to show up as you, where someone's trying to change you, or even have said they can even say you're not valuable, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, all that sort of thing. Know that that's always going to stick with you if you actually believe it to be true. And you'll have more and more experiences of that in the external world, because that's the story that's going on within your head. And you'll be looking out for it. There's a thing within your head called the reticular activated system, which your RAS system within your head will tune into situations where that is true, or where you think those things are true. And it will actually pick up on the people who will treat you less than, and people who will bring up, and it's just so you can see it. You need to be able to see this internal belief, and the only way sometimes that you can see this internal belief is through someone externally showing you that. And it's extremely hurtful, it's extremely painful, but if we can actually, and I use all the work that we do as experiments. Use yourself as a case study. Learn all about yourself. If you want to change situations, you need to know what's going on within your head to be able to change your external experiences. And everything that goes on within your head will be shown to you in the external world to prove to you that that is what is true. It's literally how the universe works, is it just matches up energy with energy. So the energy within your head and the thoughts within your head, you will start to see in the external world, because we all have our own filters, and we all have our own lenses around what we're seeing and what we're experiencing. So there could be something very, very, let me just say, innocent, if we call it that. An innocent comment by someone, or an innocent experience where it's actually not about not being good enough or not worthy. Yet, if that's the lens that's in there and the feeling that you have about yourself, then that's what you will take from that situation, and it'll prove to the belief that you have that that is actually true. And if you want to change that, you need to be able to, like watching the film, be able to look at the experience and to get a different perspective. And this is how you change deep-seated beliefs. And I'm going to say to you, how do you know if this is true? Well, if these have been your experiences, then that is actually what the lens is within you, just simply from experiences that have happened from the past, that the brain has decided what is true, that it is true, that you don't belong, that you're not worthy, you're not valuable. The thing is, especially watching the film and watching these incredible people from the external world, and this is why people say, but how can you say that about yourself? You're amazing, you're gorgeous. And you're like, well, I just don't feel that way, or I just don't think that way. This is where you can start to change this, is by firstly acknowledging that that is actually what's happening. And that needs to happen. So if you want to know if this is something that's going on within you, have you had any experiences where you've felt this way? Have you had other people make you feel this way? If this is true, then this is within you. And if you want to change your situation and your experiences with this, you simply need to get these situations and these memories out and have a look at them like a movie. And what it does is it helps you to get a different perspective around what's actually happening. So usually, and again, I always say people actually speak each other's minds to themselves through their subconsciouses. So sometimes some people will be saying something to you and they're actually speaking on behalf of your own subconscious, and vice versa. The things that they say and the things that you think about them are usually within their subconscious. And so we've got all these subconscious stories going on around, where we fit in, not good enough, not valued, all that sort of thing, which keeps getting shared around to each person as we go along, because we all are connected, all our subconsciouses are connected and sharing the same stories. So you may have this may not even be a core belief of yours. This could actually be something that you might have picked up along the way. And again, once you get the perspective out there and you're able to look at the situation, and any situation, and I'm talking about anything that's happened in the past or anything that's going to happen, when something does happen and you have the belief that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, or I doubt myself, or there's something wrong with me, or don't fit in, or anything like that. The first example, or the first thing that will tell you that you have that, is you will feel it, right? So this is where feelings are incredibly important. You need to actually tune into your feelings, and your feelings, if your feelings actually make you feel this way, and they actually then show you that this is, again, with your thoughts that, oh, I'm not good enough, I don't fit in, or whatever. You need to get some clarity around this and some separation from it to be able to see what's actually happening. And if you do watch any shows where you see characters who are absolutely amazing, yet they have these beliefs that they're not good enough, I'm not valuable, I'm not worthy, or whatever. And let's just use Anne for an example. She has this story based around, number one, that she didn't know whether she was loved or wanted as an orphan. That's the first thing that made her feel that she's not good enough, not worthy, not valuable. And then the next situations that she was passed around from home to home to home, and not accepted, not loved, and then people making fun of her, teasing her, then cemented within her that she's not good enough, and that she's not valuable and not worthy. And there's a lot of other characters in the show who also feel the same, which again, they all tended to come together because energy matches with energy, right? So they all tended to come into each other's experiences to help each other, to support and to love each other, because they all had these similar experiences to be able to see in each other what they don't see about themselves. And in this situation, for example, this is a perfect way when you look at other people around you, and I can guarantee you most people have these thoughts or beliefs about themselves. It doesn't matter how confident they actually come across. A lot of people have this belief that they're not valuable, they're not worthy, or what have you, and a lot of people don't even know they have it. Yet, if they are constantly trying to talk themselves up, or they're constantly trying to make you believe that they're better than what's actually going on, you can be guaranteed that there is something going on within them that is saying that they're not worthy or not good enough. And this is where, sometimes, especially with your closest friends or family members, when you look at them, you can see that they have these thoughts or beliefs, and it's confusing, because you're like, well, no, you're amazing. Why do you think this way? And the absolute answer to that is through the experiences that their brain has decided that is actually what's true. But I want you to then realize as well that when you can see how amazing everyone is in the real world, and then people, most people have this thought that I'm not valuable, or I'm not good enough, or I don't fit in, or what have you, that you represent that within yourself. If you can see that everyone around you is amazing and awesome, yet you don't feel that way about yourself, just know that most people in the world feel this way. And this is why they're always trying to compensate through lots of different, I'm not going to bring up any ways, actually I've been told to bring up the ways. Okay. The ways that people will show you that they have this belief is again through talking themselves up, or also if they withdraw and they don't interact, or they don't feel confident enough. All these things are signs for you to then notice that I think they carry the belief that they're not good enough or not worthy. Any situation, if anyone is dealing with situations or realities, especially around bullying and painful situations that people do struggle with every day, confidence, self-awareness, all that sort of thing, they will be operating from this belief that they're not good enough, or that they're not worthy, or what have you. And the thing is that if you can see their magnificence, then the way that you can help them to be able to see their own magnificence is for you to realize that you also are magnificent, and that it's just a belief, it's just a story that we have within us. It's a story that the brain decided that if that happened to me and that is my experience, then that must be why that's happening, and it'll create that story. And I think it's really great if you can have the ability to be able to take out those experiences and look at them in the, I call them, put them in the external, take them out of your mind and look at them like you're watching a movie, replay them and look at them from someone watching an external situation. You'll usually find when you do that, there's no concept. There is no actual reality of not worthy or not good enough. And it's really interesting when you get to that place where you can see that that is just something that's going on within us, those thoughts and beliefs, because every person on the planet should be, they're here. If they're here, then there is something for them to be here for. If you're here on the planet, there is something for you to be here for. There is always a reason why each person is here on the planet. There is always a reason why each person is interacting with other people and how they are meant to be helping them. But even if someone isn't helping someone, doesn't mean that they're not valuable or not worthy, because they're here on the planet, and every person on the planet is here for a reason. So the concept of not good enough, not valuable, not worthy just doesn't actually exist when you look at it from an external reality, and watch it. And if you can do that, like, I've just explained, by watching the film of your life unfold and watch it like you're watching a movie, you will see, usually in most cases, the things that, when people are reacting this way, especially with bullying or abuse or things like that, it's usually that person who is being the abuser or the one who is bullying or the one that's putting others down actually have that happen to them. And for them to try and counteract for their own unworthiness and their own not good enough and their own not valuable, all that sort of thing, they will project the pain that they have within themselves onto other people. And I think if you can all have a look at situations where that may have happened to you, and decide that doesn't actually mean that I'm not valuable or not worthy. It just means that that person is just projecting their own pain onto me. It's not right, and it's not nice, and it's not meant to, it's not a good thing to happen to anyone, of course. But to stop the pattern, if we want to stop the pattern, and again, for humanity, if we want to change how we all deal with each other, we need to see that the concept and the belief of not good enough, the not valuable, the not worthy, all that sort of thing, is not actually a real truth. It's just a belief that we pick up, that we decide is true, from the experiences we have. But if you get a chance to look at the experiences and give yourself the space to look at actually what's going on, you will actually see that it's projection of each other's beliefs about themselves, and putting that onto other people, which then we all carry within ourselves, and then we keep them projecting. And subconsciously, like, I'm telling you, this is subconscious. Some people don't even know that they're doing this to other people, especially when they think that I'm better than other people, or those people, don't fit into my group or my society or what have you. It comes from a place that I actually have that deepest fear that I don't want to, I want to fit in. I want to be able to be accepted in different groups. And for me to feel more powerful and more accepted in these groups, I need to then make you feel less than. Again, they're actually only projecting their own less than onto someone else. And we can then, if we can see this for what this is, through looking at the stories, through watching it as a movie, instead of actually making it again about you and about you saying, well, I'm not good enough to fit into that group, or I'm not good enough to be with those people. Actually, if you can see it as I don't want to be with people I choose not to be with people who feel, and I feel sorry for you that you have to get your value and worth by being in a certain particular social circle or a social group. And we can, once we have empathy and understanding for others, we can actually have that for ourselves. When we forget that, we don't need to try and fit into these situations to be acceptable or to be valuable or worthy. You already, if you are a person on this planet, you are naturally valuable. You are naturally worthy. You do not need to carry any guilt or any doubt or any lack of value at all. It's literally just what the brain has decided is true from past situations. So please, if anyone who's here that wants to ask any questions or comments, you can just type them in the side there. But I do need to stress this. It's easier to watch it on a show. If there are any films that first come to mind for you that will help you to, understand this concept, for you to relate it back to yourself, then please do that. If you can't, watch your own movie, your own life movie, and look at the situations that happen, put it out in front of you, look at it in the external world as a movie, and you will see everyone's trying to project their own pain onto other people. And we can make a choice right now that I'm not going to carry that belief with me, even though other people may have that beliefs about themselves. If I'm a person on this planet, then I am valuable, I am worthy, I am good enough. And then when you realize, well, is that even a thing? I'm here. Like, how can you be more valuable, more worthy, or more good enough than anything if you are simply just here being yourself and accepting yourself for who you are? And it does come down to self-acceptance. When you have complete self-acceptance around yourself, you aren't comparing yourself to anyone else, and you are allowed to be unique, then these concepts actually disappear and they don't become a thing. And this is where you can see value shows up a lot when it comes down to deserving, getting help from other people, maybe even in money situations. I'm not deserving to earn that much, or I'm not deserving enough to be able to receive that much. And these are subconscious beliefs that need to come out. If you are having an experience of less than or lack, know that this comes from these beliefs that I'm not worthy, I'm not valuable, I'm not good enough. And you can go back to the source. Your gut will tell you, your stomach will tell you where these situations happened in the past when you go back into your memories, because you will feel sad about them, you will feel upset, you will feel annoyed, you will feel angry, you will feel frustrated. And that's going to help you to bring those situations out and help you to look at it in the movie, in the external world. Take it out of your head and look at it in the external world like you're watching a movie. And it helps you to get, with this information, hopefully, it'll help you to get a little bit more perspective around what actually happened. And you should hopefully be able to see that in most cases, people are just projecting their own pain onto other people to just help them to feel better and give them a break from their own pain for just 1 minute. And so when you can see that, and if you can see that in all the past situations that have happened, then you can then realize that the belief of not good enough, not worthy, doubting yourself or what have you, isn't actually a thing. It's something that we need to, as a society and in humanity, that we need to start looking at as something that we're not going to carry on through the generations. We're not going to, first off within ourselves, be the ones that are going to carry on those beliefs, because we don't want to project that anymore. We don't want to be those people who subconsciously project this information onto others through our own experiences and our own actions. We want to give others the confidence to turn up and be themselves and to accept themselves. And the only way you can do that is by doing that for yourself. And that's how we help humanity, and this is how we help each other. So hopefully you've got some information from this today. If you've got any questions or comments, you can pop them below, and I will tackle them personally. But again, if there's experiences that you've had that you can't get that perspective on, and you can't see that in the external movie, please also share that information. Again, stories is how we learn and we grow together. And so share your story, and if you can't get that perspective, I urge you to share your story either with me or with other people to help you to get that perspective. And you'll soon see, like I have seen, and again, if I've seen this in my external world, there must be again something within even me that may have some of these past beliefs carried through. Kristen said, thanks, I'm going to check out Anne with an E for insights for my soul. And any movie that comes around into your awareness, they've all got insights for you. And definitely, again, if you see something come into your awareness in your external world, then there is something for you to unpack what's going on in your subconscious. It really stood out watching the show, these amazing, beautiful characters carrying around these beliefs of not value, and they'd say it, I'm not valuable, I'm not worthy. And the messages that came through was, that's not a thing, Kim. Like, this is something we all carry around in different elements, every part of ourselves. Like, there's lots of that going on in the world. And, once acceptance is there and we can see that we accept ourselves for who we are, then the concept of valuable or not worthy does actually just disappear. And it's up to us to be the facilitators to that, for then other people, for us to show up to other people and show other people that you can love and accept yourself, and then realize that the concept of not good enough, not worthy, just doesn't actually exist when you see that. And that's how we shift our consciousness from being stuck in one place to being able to have different experiences. And you will see, once you can, it's calling it out, like getting it out, looking at it, seeing it for what it is, and then realizing that, you know what, that doesn't actually have to be true anymore. And by seeing the movie of your life, then you can definitely be able to get the perspective around, I am actually pretty good. And you're allowed to say that. I am pretty good. I'm fine. And I'm just here doing the best I can, as well as everyone else. We are all on this planet together. We're all here to help each other. And if you can, even help one person with this, please know and hand on that hopefully that person can help another person with this, and then so on. And this is how we send love for humanity around the globe. So thank you for joining me, guys, today. Again, if you've got any questions and comments, please pop them down. If you don't understand this and you have a situation that you're stuck with, please share that with us, and I will help you to get a perspective through the movie of your life. And again, it's not worth you carrying around the not valuable and not worthy when it actually isn't who you are, and it's not true. And I see that truth in all of you. I see that everyone is here for a reason, and even if you're not being proactive with that reason, or even if you are, that doesn't determine your value or worth here on the planet, because everyone is here. It's a beautiful mix of a tapestry of people, and you don't even know what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you're facilitating things on the planet. So keep just showing up as you, and knowing that whatever is going on within your life, you can change it through simply getting that perspective and looking at it from a different reality. And hopefully you can start to change this belief that's going around the planet, so that we can all show up and show up from a place of love and acceptance, not only for ourselves, but for other people. If you want to keep doing this work with me, I do run groups every week through our professional and our protege groups. So if you want to know more information around that, we do work on these concepts every week. Otherwise, sign up, subscribe, what have you, for the Love for Humanity videos. And we're here every week. If there's any topics you want me to tackle, do so. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining me. Bye.